What? Do you say this after an audio glitch in your video call? Well, in English, this isn't very professional, whereas an expression like pardon or excuse me is much more appropriate for a professional virtual meeting. In fact, for your virtual meetings or online job interviews, there's a ton of things you can do to speak better English and consequently sound more professional. Let me tell you 3 things to stop doing and 2 things to start doing to get your English in top condition for your next virtual meeting. This is problematic for 2 reasons. Any ideas why? Well, first of all, it's the wrong tense. If you are about to share your presentation, it's happening in like the next 10 seconds in the future. So you're gonna say, I'm going to share my presentation now. Use the going to tense to announce your intention. Second of all, it's a little abrupt to say that and only that. In English-speaking culture, it's quite conventional to follow that up with a little explanation. For example, I'm going to share my presentation now so that you can see the new designs. Or, for example, I'm going to share my screen now and demonstrate how to use the new software. It's a courtesy to the other participants in the meeting. It lets everybody know what's going on, and this will help build your impression as a professional. Quick tip for your English. So if you are in a virtual meeting and you're sharing your screen and you want to check that everything's okay for the other viewers, it's incorrect to say, "Do you see my screen?" In fact, you should say, "Can you see my screen?" Or more generally, "Can everyone see my screen?" Basically, in English, if you see the word see, it's normally combined with can or can't, and not do or don't. And actually, the same rule applies for the word hear. So if you have audio problems, you should say, "I can't hear you," not "I don't hear you." These mistakes are really common and easy to make, but they're also easy to fix. Something that tends to happen a lot in virtual meetings, especially for people who aren't so comfortable speaking in English, is that they start speaking robotically. By robotic, I mean speaking in a very monotonous tone and not changing the pitch of the voice. This is probably because they are under pressure. They maybe feel more socially disconnected because it's a virtual meeting. So it's totally understandable that they're not paying attention to the intonation of their English. But it can have the effect of losing your audience. So I would recommend putting effort into the music of your English. In general, English is a language which gets a lot of meaning from the way that you express it, from the emotion in your tone. So don't forget to put energy and emotion into your speaking. Well, emotion, like not a dramatic monologue, appropriate emotion for a professional setting. One quick trick to help you with this is to remember to stress the important words in a sentence and relax with the less important words. For example, the sentence, "I'll finish the report by Friday." Here, the most important words are finish, report, Friday. So I emphasize these words I kind of say them more strongly. But the other words like I'll, the, by are less important, and I relax with them. I don't say them so strongly. I kind of de-stress them. So obviously in your virtual meeting, you're not gonna stop and think about every sentence and which words are important or less important. But you can practice, and if you do over time start to develop this skill, you're gonna get very nice variation in your English, and that's really gonna help engage with your audience better. So you know that really awkward part of virtual meetings where you're sharing your presentation and it's on everybody's screens at home, but the conversation moves on, you kind of want to shut down your presentation, you want to stop sharing your screen. Here's a useful expression for that situation. If you need me to share my screen again, just let me know. I'm going to stop for now. Another really fun part of working online is when you have back-to-back virtual meetings, one after the other. Maybe you're talking, you look down at your watch and you think, oh my God, look at the time, I need to stop talking. Here's an expression to help you. I'm just conscious of time. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out. And reach out is a very nice expression used a lot in business professional settings, and it basically means to initiate contact with somebody. It's a good one. I would try implement that. And if you're ending your virtual meeting completely, you'll want to finish with some nice, polite goodbyes. Here are some ideas. It was great to connect with all of you today. We can follow up with next steps via email. So try using some of these expressions in your next virtual meeting, and your English will sound a lot more natural, more polite, which will help give you credibility with the other participants of the meeting. A few months ago, a friend of mine had a virtual job interview with a big company in a different country. Now, the country my friend is from is not famous for being punctual, let's say, and the country where the company is based is very famous for being very, very on time. So my friend connected for the online job interview exactly at 2 o'clock, which was the scheduled time. But in the interviewer's culture, connecting exactly on time was almost the same as being late. And the interviewer totally reprimanded my friend for not being early, basically. The point is, people from different cultures and different companies might have different expectations of communication style, different customs, different ways of working. So it's important to take this into account when you have a virtual meeting, because if you get it right, then you show your respect and you show your professionalism. So here's 5 things I would like you to implement into your English in your next virtual meeting so you sound super professional. The first thing is to always use going to when you're expressing a really coming soon intention that you have. And don't forget to follow that up with a very brief explanation of why you're doing this, just as a courtesy to keep the other participants in your meetings fully informed. Second, for audio and camera problems, use correct sentences like, "Can you hear me?" or "I can't see your screen." Third, I know virtual meetings in English are scary, but try to remember to keep the music of your English musical. Fourth, Remember to wrap up your virtual meetings with nice, polite expressions like we saw. And finally, remember to take into account who you're meeting with so that you can be as respectful to them as possible. If you follow these 5 tips, you are going to positively engage with others. You're going to have crystal clear communication, and consequently, you're going to give a really professional impression in your next virtual meeting. If you want to continue improving your English for professional situations, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, check out my website, talktips.tv, and check out my other social media platforms. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you soon.